So these, dear Nana, are examples of types of reports and the examples. And we have indicated that there are various types of reports, and some of the common types of reports include: 1, information reports; 2, analytical reports; 3, proposal reports; 4, investigative reports; 5, commendation reports; 6, technical reports; 7, periodic reports; 8, special purpose reports. So once these reports have been prepared, in certain organizations or in certain settings, even including learning institutions, the reports would then be expected to be presented in what is called oral presentation. You may find yourself, dear learner, in an environment where you are expected to now make an oral presentation of a given report that you have made or you have been asked to make as an individual or as a team. So what are some of the things that need to be put into consideration in relation to oral presentation of a report? So oral presentations are effective ways to communicate research findings to a wider audience, and there are some tips that those preparing to make oral presentations require to have in order to deliver those reports successfully in an oral presentation. So this oral presentation could be in relation to what is called viva voice, or maybe making an oral presentation maybe for an academic award, or trying to make a presentation to a team in an interview, or in a consultancy, you want to be told to make a 15 minutes or 20-minute speech of what you intend to do in a consultancy. So the structure of an oral presentation report, or maybe what you require to do to prepare: number 1, structure your presentation. It's important. If you are going to make a presentation, it should be structured in terms of an outline. How will it be presented? Number 2, it's important for whoever is going to make an oral presentation to practice and rehearse. For instance, how long would the presentation take? Number 3, use visual aids effectively. We have previously looked at visualization of data, for instance. Then that visualization of data would require whoever is making an oral presentation to use an effective oral presentation or maybe data visualization aid to assist in using that aid effectively. Number 3, engage your audience. Number 4, speak clearly and confidently. So in order to make and deliver an oral presentation successfully, it's important for the following. Number 1, structure your presentation. Number 2, practice and rehearse. Number 3, use visual aids effectively. Number 4, engage your audience. Number 5, speak clearly and confidently. So we can have a look at this briefly. So number 1, oral presentation. Number 1, structure your presentation. So it is important that the presentation is structured in 3 main parts: the introduction part, the body part, and the conclusion. In the introduction part of the oral presentation, the presenter is expected to grab the audience's attention with a strong opening statement, briefly introducing the topic, research question, and the main findings. And this is where the abstract will be very important. In terms of the body of the presentation, it's important for whoever is making an oral presentation to present key findings in a clear and concise manner, using visuals like slides or handouts to support the presentation. When it comes to the conclusion, it is important to summarize the main points of the presentation and reiterate the significance of the research. So the first part of the oral presentation that is very critical is to structure your presentation. If you are making an oral presentation, make a strong introduction, provide the main findings in the body, and be able to point towards the conclusion of the presentation and reiterate the significance of the research if the presentation is about research findings or maybe a scientific study or a research that was being conducted. Secondly, in oral presentation, the presenter has to, number two, practice and rehearse. The presenter has to familiarize themselves with the material, practice out loud, then seek feedback. In familiarizing the material, the presenter is expected to ensure that they have a thorough understanding of the research that has been conducted. In terms of practicing out loud, it's important that the presenter rehearses the presentation several times to improve on the delivery and timing. And when it comes to seeking feedback, it is important that the presenter should ask a friend or colleague to provide feedback on how the presentation has been done, maybe in a different setting. Then improvements can be instituted in relation to how the oral presentation can be refined. Thirdly, in oral presentation, the presenter has to use visual aids effectively. It's important to keep these visual aids simple, use high quality graphics, and practice with the visuals. In terms of keeping it simple, it is important for the presenter to avoid overloading the slides with too much text and information. Using high quality graphics is important that the presenter ensures that the visuals are clear, legible, and visually appealing. When it comes to practicing the visuals, the presenter has to make sure that the presenter is comfortable using any technology or equipment that is required for the presentation. Then four, engage the audience or engage your audience. And how is the presenter expected to engage the audience? This can be done by maintaining eye contact, using gestures and body language, using pause for effect, and encouraging questions. So it is important that whoever is making an oral presentation, the person or whoever is doing that, if the audience is there, to maintain eye contact by looking at the audience to establish connection, using gestures and body language to convey enthusiasm, confidence, and using the effective body language. Pausing for effect. It's important for the presenter to use pauses strategically to emphasize key points or allow the audience to absorb information. The presenter in an oral setting should also encourage questions by inviting the audience to ask questions at the end of the presentation. Then number five, speak clearly and confidently. Whoever is making an oral presentation is expected to project their voice, maintain natural pace, project confidence. And in terms of projecting voice, it's important to speak loudly and clearly to ensure that everyone can hear, depending on the media being used. For example, could be a loudspeaker, or someone could just be speaking to a group of people without using any voice projection instruments. Maintaining a natural pace, it is important for the oral presenter to avoid speaking too quickly or too slowly. Projecting confidence, the presenter who is making an oral presentation should believe in the research that they have conducted and deliver the presentation with conviction. Because how one is talking about what they have found will also appeal and influence others to have confidence in that particular finding. So these ones are five areas or five aspects or tips that an oral presenter needs to put into perspective in order to prepare a successful oral presentation. Aspects include: number one, structuring the presentation, which will involve looking at the introduction, body of the presentation, and the conclusion. Number two, practicing and rehearsing about the oral presentation by familiarizing with the material, practicing aloud, and seeking feedback. Number three, using visual aids effectively by keeping it simple, using high-quality graphics, and practicing with visuals. Number four, engaging the audience through maintaining eye contact, using gestures and body language, pausing for effect, and encouraging questions. And number five, speaking clearly and confidently where the oral presenter is expected to project their voice, maintain a natural pace in terms of the presentation, and projecting confidence and conviction in the research presentations that are being presented.